Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to go over how to do this floating TV screen effect, I guess, that I did for the Saints. It's all done in After Effects, so let's get into it. So I just jumped into After Effects here. I've got my video. Now I'm just going to drag this video over onto here, which will create a composition. It's the same frame rate, size, and length as our clip. Now if I click on here on the timeline, go to composition and composition settings, this is what we've got. So it's shot in 4K, 2160 by 3840, so I shot it vertical. Now I did shoot this at 25 frames per second because I knew I wasn't going to slow it down. And I was shooting it on a gimbal. If we play that back, it's nice and smooth. Just Troy here looking. Now this is a key feature of trying to get a good track, is having smooth footage. Okay, that's perfect. And then the TV screen we're going to use is just this clip here, which is obviously tiny. And we'll just use a small clip from that, and the audio from that is good as well. Now the first thing we need to do is create a roto layer. So we need to take our footage and cut out Troy, the player we got there, to put him in front of the TV screen. So first things we're going to do is we're going to go to rotoscope. So go up to here to the rotoscope tool, rotobrush tool, and then double click on the layer, which will put you into the layer for this. I'll exit that. So now this is the composition. This is the layer window. Now you'll notice that my cursor is just, you probably can't even see it on the screen, but it's this tiny little target here. And then I'm going to select Troy. So click and drag. Anything in green is what you want to keep in the layer, and everything else should be cut out. It's going to do its best to see what you want to keep, which is not all of that. So I'm going to hold Alt and just take this off, take the middle out here, keep the bottom of his shoe, hold Alt, take this gap out here, and then take this gap out here. Because you don't know, you might need these little details in here because you don't know how your screens are going to work. Now it's going to be a little bit harder because his skin, this shadow side of his skin is probably going to be the same, almost the same color as this timber here. Then I'm going to move forward. I don't want to move forward too much. I don't want it to do too much rotoscoping. I want to be able to analyze what it's doing first. Oh, that's a good point there. It's not set to full resolution. So I'm going to go back to the start, go to my composition, make sure we're set to full resolution, then go back in. Now we can see it's a lot more detailed. I don't know what I was doing there. So hold Alt, take this off, keep us here. So make sure you're in full resolution. If you've got a slower computer, it might be a little bit harder. And then again, just go forward. It's going to calculate those frames. I'm going to see what we're going on here. Yep, that's pretty good to me. Keep going forward. Go forward again. Luckily, it's not too slow of a process. As it goes through more and more, I think it gets smarter and smarter, and it sort of locks in on what you want it. See in here, it's automatically taking out his the gap between his hand and his shirt, which is exactly what we want. Go through here, and everything still looks good. This is even rotoing even better than what I did when I actually did it the first time. I remember it just being so slow and not very good. It was missing his shoes for some reason. This is pretty good. So it's going to keep going all the way through, just double checking. This is, yeah, it's just one of those things. If you want to go all the way through, you can. But if it misses stuff, you're going to sort of be left with a trash rotoscope, which you don't really want. Just got to go all the way to the end. I think it's doing pretty well. Now, one thing it didn't do is sort of these little gaps between his fingers. Oh, it's tried to do it there, which is pretty good. Sweet. So that's the roto done. Now, this is a little trick that I do that I tell people to do if you've got a slow computer. So if we go back out here to composition video, now you'll see what we've done. We've actually the whole video is just cut out Troy. Now, if I turn on this little button here, this is the transparency grid. So anything with these checkers on them is transparent. So I could put anything behind it. That's what rotoscoping is, or masking, or rotobrush. It's all the same thing. So basically, we've just cut Troy out, which is what we want. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to go and export this. So I'll push Control M. This is for you people who have slow computers. And then in this little top down, just go high quality with alpha, just to make it easy. Choose your video location. I'm going to put it, say, video roto. Just call it the roto, video roto. Render it out. Now, it should be rendering pretty quick. My computer's not too bad. Then I'll go back into here, and so if you have got a fast computer, you can just go and Control D, duplicate this, and then on the bottom layer, go to Effects and just delete the roto brush. So now you've got a video on top that is your rotoscoping, and your video on bottom that is your your non-rotoscope layer, your original layer. Now I'm just going to turn this video layer off because I don't need that rotoscope, calculating the rotoscope every single time. It gets annoying. And of course, if you've exported your clip, if you've got a slower computer, you want to go back in, find your video. So video roto is what you would go and find, and put that on top. So now, if I take video roto and move this, I'll make sure I'll push V because I've still got the roto brush selected as the controller. Go to Selection Tool, and if I move this roto, this is basically what's happened. So you've just got a video on top of the video that's cut out. So I'm not going to use, I'll use this video roto as my roto layer, just for the slow people's computers. But now we've got to go to the 3D tracking. So with the bottom layer selected, make sure your playhead is back at the start. Right click and go to camera. Track and stabilize and track camera. Now I like to go to advanced up here and go detailed analysis. Make sure that's ticked on. So it's just going to go through frame by frame and add tracking markers to the entire image. Now if you don't know how to 3D track, you don't know why you 3D track or what it's actually doing, I suggest you go back to one of my very first videos, which is a full beginner's guide to 3D tracking. That will also give you an idea of how to do this properly and how to get shots like this properly. So mine's just finished tracking. Now let's go and have a look at how it went. So select this layer here, the one that you tracked with. Go to the effect controls. If you don't have effect controls, select that window, go to window, go all the way down here and make sure your effect controls is on. That will add it in there. So this is just the effect controls for this one layer. And then go to the track point size and drag this to the right. I'm going to keep dragging this. So now we can actually see the tracking points where before they were quite tiny. I'm going to make them even bigger. And then see, as you hover over, it's sort of picking tracking points to track to. I'm going to make the tracking target bigger, maybe even a bit bigger. There, so now we've got the target you can see properly. Now you sort of want to, I don't think it really matters where you select for the tracking points, as long as you know how to move it where you want to in 3D space. As long as you don't pick something like Troy. If Troy was moving, you don't want to pick those tracking markers. You want to pick tracking markers that are going to be still the entire time. So I'm just going to pick maybe over here. So I'm just going to left click. I'm going to select those 3 tracking points, right click, and then create solid in camera. And I'll show you why I do this. So now it's created this solid. So the solid here, if I just go right click, go new solid, and just bang in a blue solid onto my thing here. So this solid is just a solid color that's the size of the composition. So whatever composition size you've got, and you add a new solid, it's going to create a solid that's the size of that composition. So I'll delete that. So that's what this track solid here is. It's created a solid, and then it's created this 3D camera. So if I take the solid, use these handles, and just orientate this so the blue one, the Z, is sort of facing the way Troy's body's facing. So it's sort of, and you just sort of have to have a look at it. So lift it up and just twist these around. Now you can push S and then drag this across and scale it up. So now let's have a look at how it's been tracked. It's actually a pretty good track, but the track obviously looks like it's all the way over there. So I'm going to scale this down. So I'll push S, make it smaller. So I'm going to bring it forward, bring it to the left, and rotate it a bit because I want to make it look like it's just above this line in the yellow area there. So where that line is, that's where I want it to sort of look like it's hovering over. Now it still looks like, and this is just me from experience, I can tell that it just looks like it's not in the right spot, or not where I want it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll bring it forward more. So that's not bad. Now, I think that looks sweet. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll drag this to the right a little bit. So, now this looks like it's vertical, which is what I want. It's the orientation of it is facing the same way Troy's body's facing, which is what I want as well. I sort of want it parallel with the lines on the floor going that way. Now, we've only got, obviously, you can see there's one issue, is that it's going in front of him. Now, this is what I mean by, that's why we did the rotoscope at the start. So, if I go here, and then I take a video roto, turn that layer back on, and obviously you put it above the track solid. So now all of a sudden Troy's in front of the blue solid. Now this is why it was important that we had the cutout under his arm. Now if you notice, yeah, so if we didn't have that cutout under his arm, then we'd see the wall at the back. So that's why it's important to know where you're going with this. So that's that there. Now, to create our actual video layer, I'm going to take this track solid, I'm going to right click and go to pre-compose. Now I'm going to choose the first one, so leave all attributes in this composition and just create the new pre-comp. If you choose this one, it's going to move all of the attributes into its own comp and you'll lose the 3D tracking data. So we'll choose the first one and we're going to call this one TV screen. Okay. So now we've got TV screen, and now if I double click on this, now it's gone into a new composition called TV screen. And what's in there is our track solid, which is exactly what we want. Now I'm going to delete this, and then I'll show you why it's important to know what you're doing here. So I'm just going to write, I don't know, hoop, push V. So to do that, I just grabbed this pen tool, chucked in here, and just started writing. Yeah, so now I've written hoop inside here, and then check out in video 1. We've got the word hoop over here. And if we click on the TV screen layer, notice this red square. This is the bounds of that solid that we had. So we've got hoop. If I take this hoop and put it at the bottom corner, and the P is cut off, just to iterate again, the P's cut off here, and look, it's at the bottom corner of that the red bound. So that's sort of like how you can compute what I'm actually doing with the pre-comp and why you want a pre-comp. So it's a new composition called TV screen that's over here. And if we click over here, anything you put in here, so if I duplicate this, put the hoop up here, now this hoop layer has anything within that square bound, those square bounds. So that's basically what we have here. And as you can guess, we're probably going to add this video, which we had prepared earlier. Push S, scale it to the bounds, and obviously I just want this one part here when he takes the dunk, and then maybe cut it there. So I'll go Control Shift D to split it, and then I'll just go duplicate and then just move this across so that it just keeps, so it plays it twice. Basically goes bang and then just plays it again. So I just want that video layer like looping, I guess. So if we go back here and push play, now we have the TV screen behind Troy playing the video, which is exactly what we want. To add that white area and around the outside, I'm going to go grab this rectangle tool and just have a fill. I'm going to have 0 fill. So click on the word fill and then just go to none, and then go and draw this to the outside bounds of the video. So it's going to add a shape. Now we're going to increase the stroke here, and now we've got the outside bounds of our video. If we go back to video 1, so now we've got the TV screen with the white border. Now obviously we want that to animate in. So if I go back here and have this, now we're going to treat the TV screen as its own layer. So everything inside the TV screen will be affected by anything you do to the TV screen in the main comp. So if I take this TV screen here and say, just make the layer shorter, now there's no TV screen, now it just appears. So have it here, and then I go to the effects and presets. If you don't have effects and presets, again, click where you want it to be inside which window, go to window, and then go to effects and presets. Make sure you select that. So I'm going to go effects and presets. I'm going to type in LUME and grab Lumetri color, chuck it on top of the TV screen. Now I'm going to come up to the effects and controls for this TV screen, layer, which is now the Lumetri color. Go to basic correction, and I'm going to increase the exposure and maybe the shadows a little bit, maybe a bit more. So it'll go like this, and then I'm going to click the stopwatch on the shadows and the exposure. Make sure I'm at the start of the actual where I've cut it, and then I'm going to hold Control and move forward maybe 6 frames with the directional key, and then just going to make these back into 0. So now it's going to go from here, and then I push play, so it sort of flashes in. So I'll probably want more of a flash than that, so I might just increase that to say maybe like 90, maybe like 9. Increase the highlights, stopwatch those, and then on here just push U so I can see those keyframes. Go over here, set that back to 0. So now you've got this sort of flash in effect. I'll make the blacks actually, yeah, make this do that. So blacks a little bit more. Keyframe those. Just sort of muck around with it. Bang. So now it sort of flashes in. If you add a sound effect, obviously you'll get better results. So that sort of flashes in. So that's the basic premise of, say, the TV screen, the floating TV screens. Now, one thing I like to do with all of my 3D layers, even text layers and everything, I'm going to push T, and I just drop the opacity to something like 90. And so when you come in here, like if you look on this, you can just see, like, you could probably even go like 85. This is just something I like to do. So you can see the lines behind the court, this red line going through. I don't know, if you 3D track stuff in, especially text, and they're just at full opacity, they don't look like they're in the scene. They still look like they're on top of the video. If that makes sense. So, bang. That's pretty much all I do for this. Obviously, you can take your TV screen, you can color grade it, you can do all that stuff, add some more effects. You can make maybe like a VHS effect inside the actual TV screen layer. You can do whatever you want. Now, obviously, the last part is that we need a reflection on the bottom. Now, if you notice that Troy here, check out his reflection here. So it's quite noticeable here, all through this white part, and then it sort of starts fading off at the bottom. So we want to try and mimic that effect. So if I take my TV screen, and obviously I do this right at the end, so it has the same effects. It's got this Lumetri color flash in effect that's coming in at the same point. So I can duplicate that now, and then the one underneath, I'll take that, and all I'm going to do is open up the properties, go to transform, and on the X, so the red is the X, the Y is the green, the Z is the blue. So we're going to take the X rotation, and we're going to rotate that by 180 degrees on the X rotation. So that should flip that one upside down. And then notice it's facing upside down now. So I'm going to drag this one down into the floor. So if you look at this, so if I undo that and I play this, it sort of looks like it's about this far off the ground, the original layer. So if I take this other layer and I bring it to here, to that white line, now it's in line with the floor, and then I'll bring it down about the same distance off this white floor. I mean, it's all subjective. Now that's cool, it's in the right spot, it's upside down. Now, one of the videos that I did in the original one actually wasn't upside down, idiot, but that's just is what it is. Now, obviously, you'll see that Troy's reflection is a lot less bright underneath here, so we need to sort of mimic that. So we just push T, we're going to drop the opacity of that down to about that. Now, also, we want this to fade at the bottom. So what I like to do is just come up here to the mask tool and just draw a mask out here, straight through the middle, down here, zoom out, down here. And to move around, I'm just clicking my middle mouse wheel button and then here. So this creates a mask like that. Now I'm going into the mask properties, drop that down, and I'm going to invert the mask so it's showing the top there. Now it's just a straight cut. So all we have to do is just mask feather, just drag the feather up, just keep dragging it, and you'll notice that the feather of the mask is starting to reveal more of the bottom. So I'm going to feather that out, just keep feathering it, and now drop that back a little bit. Could even maybe move the mask up a little bit and just feather a bit more. Then I'll just take the opacity, push T, make it up a little bit. Now this is why it was important to cut his shoes out. So I'll go to full. So his shoes are now in front of the reflection, which is how it should be. Obviously his shoes are in front of his floor reflection. Now, if you wanted to be full on, you go and rotoscope out his floor reflection, but man, that's a lot more work that I don't think you necessarily need to do. So that's basically it. If I push play, our TV screen flashes in. Now obviously to do more TV screens, you just go back to this bottom here, increase the size of this, go and add another TV screen there. You can put them all in different places. Make sure you've got them on top of each other the right way so that the ones that need to be in front are in front, ones behind are behind. But the most important thing is probably that you get a good track and then your rotoscope is clean so that you get nice sort of cutouts in here that sort of grounds it more in reality. So that's it for the video. Obviously this end part here where it sort of cuts him out and then transitions to the blue top, I haven't explained that, but I'll explain that in another video. If you guys want any of my preset packs, my editing packs, even join my community, links in the bio. But like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.